The delivery. Staring at his glass of untouched espresso, Adam meditated upon the director's insistence that he complete one final mandatory protocol before receiving his certificate of readiness. "Wait at the kawiarnia Gracchus," he had said, for a man carrying a package secured with stiff brown paper and baler twine. Accept the package and deliver it to the address on the package. There you will receive further instructions. Sitting alone at an empty table in the nearly deserted Rynek Główny, Adam took some comfort in the fact that, despite the crisp autumn weather and the early hour, the costume musicians, bug-eyed tourists, and horse-drawn carriages were finally emerging into view. The familiar clopping of hooves and the faint aroma of horse and manure gently reassured Adam that he was in the right place. Unfortunately, this mildly pleasant interlude did not last long. His mind soon returned to anxious speculations about those much vaunted promises of a wonderful future that had always contrasted so sharply with his actual experience. He had often suspected a ruse, and now, with no messenger in sight, it was looking like he might have been right. To dispel these disquieting thoughts, he clammed his eyes shut, clenched his teeth, and angrily shook his head from side to side. Just as he was on the verge of passing out, Adam sensed a fresh presence nearby and shot open his eyes. There, standing alongside his table, was a man wearing a vintage dark brown Harris tweed jacket, gray flannel trousers with frayed cuffs, and a pair of battered but brightly shined tassel-top cordovan shoes. Most encouragingly, the man was hugging to his side what appeared to be the promised package. Without saying a word, the messenger sat next to Adam, placed the package on the table, and pointed to the delivery address, slowly tapping it several times with his right index finger. Then, sporting an avuncular smile, he patted Adam on the back, gently squeezed his shoulder, and departed in silence. Adam gathered up the package and trudged out of the Rynek Główny. His mind angrily entertained a parade of resentments and unpleasant speculations that grew more populous with each passing step. What was this promised new life? When would it start? Would it ever start? What was in the package? Despite mounting suspicions, he continued to march forward and hope for the best. His spirits soared when he saw a queue snaking away from the sought-after address, a rather nondescript building with no sign indicating its purpose. Each person in the queue was hugging a package identical to his. Eager to take his rightful place, Adam rushed toward the end of the queue. After a few long strides, he was astonished to find that, seemingly from nowhere, more people had joined the queue, making him further from the end than when he had started. As he increased his pace in an effort to catch up, the end of the queue bolted up the street and disappeared around the corner. Dumbfounded, Adam stood still and watched the people shuffle forward until the end of the queue was once again in sight, seemingly within easy reach. Yet, when he made a move, the end snapped back around the corner. Panicking, he tried to force his way into the queue, only to be thrown to the pavement. Then he walked around the block, hoping to catch the queue unawares. But when he peeked around the corner, the queue instantly sprouted tentacles that reached far into the distance in several directions. Next, he tried to sneak into the queue from the basement window and then by climbing down the side of a building, all to no avail. The queue anticipated his every move. His beginning remained out of reach. Adam leaned against the building opposite his destination and more closely examined the people in the queue. They looked vaguely familiar, but he recognized no one. Staring straight ahead, not talking to each other, they seemed disturbingly unaware of their surroundings. Every few moments the door opened to allow one person to enter, and the queue mechanically ratcheted forward. It was, he thought, a sad mechanical affair. Yet where else could he go? Overcome with lethargy, Adam closed his eyes and slid down the side of the building, melting into the fetal position, still clutching the unopened package to his chest with both arms. Passers-by ignored him. An observer might have concluded that Adam had at least achieved invisibility, a notable feat in some circles. After all, many people pay good money to see nothing. Presently, a tennis ball bounced, thunk, thunk, down the street, followed by two prancing men carrying a stretcher between them. The men wore long-tailed tuxedo jackets over gray union suits and had mucklucks on their feet. Stopping alongside Adam, they placed the stretcher on the sidewalk, faced each other, and pumped their fists into the air, shouting, "Rescue squad to the rescue!" Then they lifted Adam, still clutching the package, onto the stretcher and continued prancing along behind the bouncing ball. Thunk, thunk. In due course, they arrived at a gate marked Emergency Entrance. At this point, Adam briefly regained consciousness, long enough to notice the sign and the two attendants dressed as hospital orderlies, who ceremoniously opened the gate and saluted as the rescue squad followed the bouncing ball inside. Satisfied that help was near at hand, Adam relaxed, closed his eyes, and concentrated on the sound of the bouncing ball. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Once through the gate, they entered a maze that extended south across the river, over the mountains, and disappeared into the infinite distance. Thunk, 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 thunk. There is an alternative ending to this story, so let's return to the point where Adam has fallen asleep on the sidewalk. From an upper window in the building opposite, the following conversation takes place. "What do you think his chances are?" the director asked. The messenger followed the director's gaze down to where Adam had passed out on the sidewalk. "Hard to say, but it's still early. Some live like that for years, watching life pass them by before they understand." The director sighed. "And even more simply die without ever understanding. Then they show up here looking for a second chance, unprepared to recognize it when they see it." The messenger smiled ruefully. "Once here," the director continued, "they make another poor choice and repeat the whole cycle." The messenger further separated the curtains to get a better view of Adam. "All he has to do is open the package and write the story of his own life on the blank pages we gave him," the director said, looking over the messenger's shoulder at Adam. "Why doesn't he just do it?" The messenger cleared his throat. "Perhaps he already has." "How so?" "Well, somebody had to write this story."